It's the finally Friday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. I'm back on the desktop computer as my laptop seems to have had a heart attack and may need to be replaced, unfortunately. But technological problems aside, it's a beautiful day today. No surprise there. We've been talking about this for a few days, that today would be the best day of the week. Yesterday was nice. Today's even better because it is so much warmer. This is the radar and satellite as I record this here in the 2 o'clock p.m. hour, our last Friday of Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we go back to daylight saving time, Sunday morning, 2 a.m. We'll lose an hour of sleep, but hey, those sunsets getting up to around 7:30 by Sunday evening and early next week. It's been a mess down in the Carolinas today with rain, freezing rain, ice, sleet. Even some snow has accumulated up in the mountains of Virginia and North Carolina over the last 24 hours. But this system has been a miss for us. Put the radar in motion here and show you how things have progressed. You'll notice hardly a cloud in the sky up in northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania today. All of the mess near the eastern seaboard is going to stay over there. And with a clear sky, it's always a great idea, at this time of the year, this winter anyway, to check out what the ice is looking like on the Great Lakes today. And it looks about the same as yesterday. Got some breaks, some cracks occurring here on the north shore of Lake Erie, and then out just north of Ashtabula, then a frozen solid top layer of the water there in the eastern part of Lake Erie. There is some ice, yes, on Lake Ontario, but notice how much is open on Lake Ontario, and as I've been telling you, Lake Ontario is a much deeper lake, so it has a harder time forming a thick layer of ice on top of it. And we've got some snow shower activity up across Michigan and into Wisconsin this afternoon. This is all part of a front that's going to sag our way for the start of the weekend. But boy, is it moisture starved. I'll get to the forecast for tomorrow in just a second. Let's plot up the temperatures quickly here. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful out there this afternoon. We've got a 48 here in the 2 o'clock hour in Youngstown, 53 down in New Philly and Columbus. It's in the mid-50s. Little taste of spring for us today, a little taste of what's to come. Look at the influence, though, that the deeper snow cover has on temperatures today, where the snowpack is quite a bit deeper. Abruptly, it turns colder out here in Illinois, Indiana, Northwest Ohio. Toledo is only at, let's see, this is Defiance, 39. Toledo's around 39, 40 degrees. And part of that is due to how much deeper the snowpack is out there, and that has a cooling influence on the lowest layer of the atmosphere right near the ground. So they're missing out a little bit on our nice warm-up that we're experiencing, where we don't have much snow on the ground here around the Mahoning and Shenango Valley. So yeah, beautiful out there today. Too bad it's not going to last a whole lot longer. Notice the air is turning colder out here across the northern plains, the prairies of Canada, and all of that is tracking our way. I'm going to bring up the high-resolution NAM model for we're going to start this with tomorrow morning, or with the wee hours of tonight. Let's start it with 3 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. Notice just how little is going on here. This may not quite have enough moisture printed out on it, but it gives you an idea as to how moisture starved this front's going to be. Not much going on. We'll go forward to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now this could be just a little bit tricky tomorrow morning. What we have going on here is a little bit of precipitation pushing in, and I'm a bit concerned that there might be a little bit of light freezing drizzle out there first thing tomorrow morning. The temperature here at the ground should get below freezing tonight in most spots, or at least near freezing, 31, 32 degrees. In fact, I can plot up quickly here the 2-meter temperatures, the temperatures near the ground for about daybreak tomorrow. The scale is just off your screen, but this does show us down a little bit below freezing in most of the area. But the temperature upstairs in the atmosphere, let's go up to the 5,000 foot level, and the freezing line here at 5,000 feet is right here, whereas temperatures at the ground where we live in a lot of this area might be just a shade below freezing. So you got air above us that's slightly warmer than the air here at the ground, and with a little bit of precipitation pushing in around daybreak tomorrow, I am a bit concerned that we might see just a touch of freezing drizzle out there. But that threat will go away fairly quickly after daybreak, and any precipitation that falls tomorrow will fall into air here at the ground that's above freezing. So it might be a touch of rain, a couple of snow showers. I think the snow shower activity is a little more likely late in the day. I'm pushing forward here to the middle of the afternoon. This is at 3 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, actually, I'm sorry. 2 in the afternoon tomorrow, and some of this could be some snow shower activity trying to push in. Bottom line for Saturday, it's going to be a cloudier day. It's not going to be as warm as today, but it's not going to do much on Saturday. Maybe a touch of rain in the midday hours, touch of snow late in the day, and at the start of the day, might just have to watch for a little bit of shenanigans with perhaps some freezing drizzle. All right, let's talk about next week. Sunday's an uneventful day. I'm going to roll things forward here on. This is the latest European model I'm showing you here. Sunday, a high pressure zone in control of our weather. After a cloudy start, so we should see a little sunshine for the midday and the afternoon on Sunday. And then we head towards next week, and it's going to warm back up Monday into Tuesday. We probably do return to the mid 40s for a couple of days. And then things turn a little more interesting. And I've got a weather blog post from this morning detailing just the initial thoughts on the potential here. It's so nice out today, and we've had a couple of underachieving storms lately, so some people on Facebook a little bit grumpy about the possibility of some snow next week. And unfortunately, when we've had a couple of forecasts that haven't gone as we initially thought, some people get a little bit snarky about it, but that's okay. We've got thick skin in the weather business. We're not going to get them all right. We've gotten a couple that we've had a couple of storms lately that have underperformed a little bit. But anyway, bottom line is, yes, we have the potential for some snow next week. How much? Boy, way too early to say, because as is common this far out, there's tremendous model disagreement. The headlines you might be seeing in some places about the possibility of a big storm, including on my weather blog, is mostly based on the European model, which I'm showing here, which has banged the drum of a pretty big storm now for a few consecutive runs. This is the map for Wednesday evening. Low pressure down here and precipitation up here around Youngstown. If this were to be exactly right, I suspect that this low track would bring some sort of mixed precipitation pretty close to the valley. But nonetheless, this gives us a pretty healthy dumping of snow if this were to be exactly right. Late Wednesday night, and then here's Thursday morning at daybreak, the storm's pushing away. This would be a big snowstorm for eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, right up through parts of New England. This is easily the most dramatic looking model right now, the European model. The other models, not as dramatic. I'm going to roll forward here with the latest GFS model, which is kind of the American version of that European model. Tends to be, in a lot of cases, a little less accurate than the European, but not always. Sometimes the GFS scores a coup and does better. But anyway, here's Wednesday morning, and the GFS has a fairly weak area of low pressure south of the Ohio River. Now this, if it were to be right, whoops, let's back up here. This, if it were to be exactly right, would bring us some snow, but it would be on the light side. This would be a couple of inches, maybe a few inches. A nuisance, yes, but not a big storm. Here's the Canadian model heading into Wednesday morning here. This looks a little bit warmer than the GFS, so if the Canadian model had the right idea, this may be rain for a time Wednesday morning before a change over to snow at the end of the day, but not much accumulation with the Canadian model. So we've got our big-time model disagreements. I'm going to show you something a little different here. This is the 500 millibar level, or about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. In the bright colors you see here, this is vorticity or spin, and it's really easy to pick out disturbances. You hear that word a lot in meteorology, disturbances in the atmosphere. And spinning parcels of air at this level oftentimes aid in air rising air leads to clouds and precipitation. But anyway, it's easy to pick out why the models are in such a disagreement here. Here's the GFS model handling of things for let's see, Wednesday morning here. What you have going on, I'm going to double click this and move it into a new window so I can draw on it a little bit. What you have going on is a pretty good feature up here in the northern branch of the jet, and a pretty good looking feature in the southern branch back here, but the GFS never marries them up. The GFS keeps this northern branch feature moving. It never really captures this feature, so it leads to a weaker storm. And that's why the GFS is kind of ho-hum about it. From last night's European model run, here's what's going on with the European. It has that northern feature, it's got the southern feature, but it tends to gel them a little bit. It marries them up enough that you get a much healthier looking disturbance here in the upper levels. Again, here's the European, here's the GFS. Notice they look quite a bit different here, and that's why you're seeing a much stronger low pressure system at the surface with the European model. It's marrying up to a certain extent the northern branch disturbance or feature and the southern branch as well, and when those two kind of gel or join forces, you end up getting a stronger storm. So we've got our work cut out for us. Certainly we're not going to speculate about amounts in forecasts or anything like that until early next week at the earliest, but early heads up that yes, we have the possibility, all just a possibility at this point, of some accumulating snow Wednesday into Wednesday night, maybe Thursday morning. Now, accumulating snow could mean an inch, could mean a lot more than that. Certainly way too early to really pin down any details. But we're heading into the weekend, and if you don't check back in on the weather until Monday, I wanted to give you a heads up before the weekend as to what next week might have in store. That's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for sticking with me today, and as always, thanks for liking me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11, and we'll be back with Weather Geeks on Monday.